Hi, this is Selekane. As you can see, I'm enjoying my coffee here, using the beautifully branded Global Conference Television mug. So, some of you will have an opportunity to enjoy it because this is a very kind of special mug. You know what I'm trying to say? So, let me put it away and we can talk some business. All right. So, the world has shifted. Not only has the world shifted, but disruption has become normal. We used to say change was the only constant, but now we're talking about disruption. And what do I mean about disruption? I mean organizations like Uber, who never existed, less than 10 years ago, they ran the transport industry in the world. If you look at companies like Airbnb, that was not there 10 years ago, now it is the biggest provider of accommodation in the world. So there's a big surge in the world of this disruption. Some people call it the fourth industrial revolution. Well, yes, that's what they call it. So what is it that I believe organizations, small, medium, large, Fortune 500 will survive? What is it that's going to make this organization survive? So I'm going to share with you 8 very simple building blocks that's going to make sure that your company not only survives this revolution, but that you surf the wave, and you come out that side smiling. So the first one, of course, is business strategy. You must have a sound strategy for your business. Otherwise, if you don't have a sound strategy for your business, you are becoming successful by default and not by design. Now, historically and statistically, they say over 70% of both corporate and government strategy do not see the light of day, and I'm going to explain to you what causes that. First, you must have a very sound strategy. The second building block is your leadership. The people who are going to be in charge of the strategy. What kind of leaders do you have, or have you trained, or have you bred to make sure that your business, sets this wave and gets out the other side successful? So first, you've got to have a very sound business strategy. Second, you must have the right kind of leaders in all levels in the business, from the bottom to the top, the other way. And the third component is what a lot of people don't know how to do, or they're struggling with. It's employee engagement. It's how you stay connected to your employees. It's how you transform your employees from being people that show up to earn a salary to becoming people that not only show up to earn a salary, but they come both intellectually and emotionally to a place of work, because there's a powerful engagement happening between all of you. Then, of course, if you've got this, you get to the one that is customer satisfaction. Now, these building blocks, you'll see how they're going to help you make your business successful. First, of course, a great, sound business strategy, leadership that will, make the strategy into reality, the engagement of employees by the leaders to make sure that employees show up. Because when employees show up, the customers become happy, and the consequence, of course, I will tell you what the consequence becomes. If customers are satisfied and they are happy, you get business results. And how do we measure business results? Ka-ching. We measure business results by our profit, my good ladies and gentlemen. So these are the 5 basic building blocks. But I said to you, we're going to be talking about 8. So these are the 5 basic ones that's going to take us to the 8. So the first one, business strategy, leadership, employee engagement, customer satisfaction, and business results. Actually, a great friend of mine says, satisfied customers will disappear one day, but you have to amaze your customers. So customer amazement. So what it means under promise, over deliver all the time. If it takes 7 days to deliver, say to the customer, you'll get it in 9 days, but deliver it in 6 days. And guess what? They're going to say, wow, man, I was expecting it in the 9th day. But there you are. Boom! You've really got somebody who's going to become a customer for life. Now, what is it that underpins all of this? What underpins all of this is what I call organizational culture. Now, organizational culture is the foundation that keeps your business together. And I'm very big on organizational culture. I research companies that are very organizational congruent, and I also speak to companies that are organizationally poor, that are not connected, that there's a lot of rifts and there's a lot of internal competition and people are sabotaging each other. And by the way, a lot of people think that happens in government. No. It also happens in the private sector, because by the way, a lot of private sector companies are trading on their legacy. The guys that formed them built such a powerful brand that no matter how bad the current people perform, the brand still makes it in the market. So your organizational culture is very important because they say your strategy will be eaten for breakfast, lunch, and dinner by your organizational culture. What does that mean? It means no matter how powerful your organizational strategy is, if the culture is not ready or the culture is not congruent for that strategy, it's never going to see the light of day. Hence the statistic that says over 70% of strategies never see the light of day. So now how many blogs do we have? We've got 6 blogs. Now I'm going to share 2, which are very critical in getting you to the next level. And these 2, of course, your leadership culture. We all know this very unhealthy saying that says monkey see, monkey do. What does it mean? It means naturally there are no bad employees. The employees are the reflection of the leaders. So if you've got bad leaders, you're going to get bad employees because employees emulate what the leaders do. Hey, I'm going to get my coffee again because, hey, this is really becoming powerful. And I hope that as you look at your business, either you're a consultant or you're running your own small business, that you're going to truly see that these blocks that I'm sharing with you here are revolutionary in themselves. That you have to go through your business and ask yourself on each block, where do you stand? And I'm going to share with you what that means. So, we said the 7th building block is your leadership culture. Now the last one, it's what we call, now this is very serious, it's what we call embracing disruption. What this basically means, it means that as an organization, you've got to understand that you are going to be disrupted. Now, don't wait for the market to disrupt you. You have to disrupt yourself. You've got to say to yourself, the products that we have now, if somebody else was going to start the business from scratch, how would they deliver this product to the market? You have to ask yourself those questions, because I can tell you now, somebody else is asking themselves that question, that how can they disrupt your business and make sure that they go ahead of your market. Now, the taxi industry never saw Uber coming. Hilton Hotel, Sheraton Hotel, Four Seasons, the Ritz-Carlton never saw Airbnb coming. Times Media, CNN never saw Facebook coming. Stay Kinoko never saw Netflix coming. So a lot of these businesses never saw the disruption coming. Now, one of the greatest upset in the history of business is a company called Kodak. What happened to Kodak? Quick as a flash, it was gone. But Kodak started dying because they did not understand these building blocks. So I'm going to label them for you so that you don't get lost. The first one, of course, I'm going to use a different marker, which is much brighter so that you can remember. So the first one, of course, we said, it's your business strategy. Once you've got a powerful business strategy, you must make sure that your leaders are good enough to make the strategy come to life. You've got to make sure that your employees are engaged, that they come to work not to earn a salary, but they come to work because they are connecting with what you guys stand for. The fourth one, I'm not going to call it customer satisfaction anymore. I'm going to call it customer amazement. Amaze your customers all the time. The fifth one is, once you do the 4 above very clear, the results will come. However, the results will never come if this is not happening. If your culture is in suspect and your culture is not solid, you're not going to be able to get the results. But to make sure that you don't only get results which are unsustainable, you've got to make sure that there's a congruency between your organizational culture and your leaders. So your leaders must literally walk the talk. Because one of the things that we see in a lot of business, we've got leaders that are very schizophrenic. At home, they're very loving fathers, they're grandmothers, they're all these kind of things. And when they come to work, they put on a different face. So a lot of people say, wow, we've got to do this work-home balance. I'm saying, no, work-home balance is so 1922. Now we're talking about work-home integration. We want the same passion that you have at home, the same love, the same care. You want you to bring it at work because that's when you're at your greatest, that's when you become creative. And lastly, okay, so this is 7. No, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 6, not 7. 6. And this is our 7, and this is our 8. Embracing disruption. Now, if you go to your organization today and look at all these 8 building blocks, now how do you make sure that you are really on top of your game? Well, we're going to go this side, and I'm going to share with you a very old trick, a very old diagnostic tool. Most of you know this tool. You know what this stands for? Very simple. Strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So what is it that you need to do for your business? You need to go back to your building blocks. You need to say, what is the strength of our strategy? What is the weakness in our strategy? What opportunities are there to make our strategies better? What would threaten our strategy? Go back to the same thing. What is the strength of our leaders? What are their weaknesses? What opportunities are there for us to develop them into becoming even much more better leaders? What threatens them? So if you use this SWOT analysis on all of these 8 building blocks, I can promise you one thing. You'll come up with a much more powerful and clearer roadmap to make sure that you're not only part of this 4th industrial revolution, that you become an organization that don't become successful by default, but that you become an organization that people want to come and learn on how you guys have done things. Because I believe that each and every one of us, we're building a business that will go in 2 ways. Either your business will die with you, or your business will shift to the next generation. And this, my good ladies and gentlemen, it's 2nd, 3rd, and 4th generation stuff. If you do this for your business consistently, not on a 5-year basis, one of the things that I teach my people that I consult with, I say to them, you must have a 100-year plan. Don't tell me about a 5-year plan. Are you joking? 5 years. You must think about what's going to happen to your business 100 years from today and come back today and say, how do I build this business to make sure that it survives me, survives my children, survives my children's children, and that it becomes a very powerful brand that will outlive me as the founder of the brand. This is Billy Selekane from Global Conference Television. I hope that these lessons that I've shared with you will make you to begin to look at your business differently and begin to connect in a much different way so that your business builds a legacy. Catch you next time.